Welcome, I'm so glad you all could join me. I'm Chavah and you're watching Ask a Midwife. Hello and welcome everyone. My name is Chavah Benzion. I'm a midwife and a doula, and I'm so pleased and proud to welcome you all to the first official WeBirth virtual doula conference. I'm going to be presenting today on how to take yourself out of your client's birth experience. And we're going to talk about redefining the definition of a good birth. A lot of us, I notice, because I noticed this within myself, we have our preconceived notions, our motivations, our goals and hopes and dreams for our own births, and sometimes we transfer those onto our clients. It's pretty easy to support a woman when you agree with her, when a lot of the things that's important to her also resonate with you, and it's easy to support a woman like that most of the time. How do we support a woman who wants something different than we would choose? I've noticed that in the doula world, most doulas have taken on their profession from one of two reasons. They've had a baby, and it's been an incredible experience. And those women are inspired and charged up, and they want to go out and learn how to support others in having a similar kind of inspiring, empowering experience. Then there are women who have had a disappointing, even a traumatic birth, and they are charged up and motivated to support women how to avoid and avoiding a birth experience like that. So in a way, the seed, the roots of our desire to help women and support women throughout the childbirth process stems a lot for a lot of us. It stems from our own birth experiences. So when you're with a woman and she's giving birth and she wants to make choices that are contrary to the things that you would want for yourself, I noticed in the beginning when I was first practicing as a doula, I would become very triggered. Let's say she originally said, I really want to avoid an epidural, but she wasn't. She expressed a desire to avoid an epidural, but she wasn't committed. And so you went into the birth experience with her, and she was doing great. And you're moving, and you're upright, and she's resting on you, and you're doing all these things, and you feel like it's going really well. And then she says, "Oh, I can't do it anymore. I want an epidural." And you're saying, no, you can do it. I know she wants an epidural, but I know she also said that she doesn't want an epidural. What to do? And she's saying, no, I really need an epidural. I'm really tired. I can't do it any longer. And I remember when I was first practicing, there's a moment at which you feel like you're a failure. And I know that most doulas watching this either have already had this kind of experience or have yet to, experience this. And I'm telling you that it's actually kind of disappointing, and I to the degree of feeling really discouraged about my own ability. What's wrong with me that she needed an epidural? We can't get caught in that trap. It isn't about us. And even though we know that in our mind, when we're in the moment with the woman and we want for her so bad, we're so keenly aware of the benefits of, let's say an unmedicated birth, or, skin-on-skin contact, or any of the things that we, letting the cord pulsate until it's finished and then cutting, all the things that we aspire to have in our own birth experiences. We really want our clients to have that, and it's coming from the right place. But sometimes we can get a little carried away, and I know I used to. And I've learned how to let my client have her experience. If she wants an epidural, well, then let's make it the best epidural possible. If she wants to send her baby off after the birth, to be cared for by the nursery, I wouldn't advise it, and I would like to lovingly tell her why that's not ideal, but in a way that doesn't demoralize her or make her feel bad for making that choice. Maybe she's just tired and she needs a rest. Every woman has a right to make her own decisions, and our job as the doula is to support her And that doesn't mean that we can't have our own personal feeling about, well, I wouldn't do that, but she cannot know that we feel that way. We have to help her feel as supported as possible in making the decisions that are right for her. And that's not easy. It's not easy to get out of the way of our client's experience. And I like to say kind of release our emotional hold on the outcome. Yes, we want her to have a healthy baby, and we want her to be healthy, and we want her to come through the experience feeling pleased and proud of herself and proud of the hard work she did and relieved. But it doesn't always look the same way for every woman. It never looks the same way for each woman. And we have to create a space where we're neutral with regard to the way we feel about the outcome of her birth. I hope you all follow me. We have to work prenatally to help the woman kind of define what her ideals are, define what she's looking for. It's important to know if a woman is seriously committed to a drug-free birth, or if she'd like to try, but she's not like, it's not like natural birth at all cost. There are different women who have different levels of commitment about what they want in their birth experience. So we really have to work hard to assess that prenatally. And you can create a birth plan, or you can just verbally talk about it. But it's really important to run through some scenarios about, okay, let's say this is happening. Would you feel okay about these options being presented to you? That's an important work as a doula, is to meet prenatally. I don't go to births. I don't accept birth. Sometimes I'm put in a situation where I'm helping a woman, but in general, when a client calls me, I always ask that we meet 3 times. And that may be excessive for some, but 2 is definitely appropriate to define kind of her specific goals, her personal goals before the birth. So what's the goal? The goal is a healthy birth. The goal is a healthy mother, healthy baby. But more than that, she needs to come away from the experience feeling like a hero. She needs to feel like she rocked. If a woman has an epidural, I'm saying, wow, were you so amazing? You tried so hard. You worked so hard. You did everything you needed to do, and you made such a good decision, and you knew your limits, and you embraced the unexpected, and you were flexible, and all this reflects your amazing, ability to come into motherhood being flexible. Motherhood is about being flexible. It's not about being rigid and hyper-focused on a certain goal or ideal. It's about being flexible. Our children are going to push us to be flexible. Can we let go of our preconceived notions and our preconceived ideas about how things need to go? This is extremely important. When we have a preconceived idea about the way a client's birth should go, we don't always realize it, but our client, on a deep intuitive level, the client will realize that we're not completely neutral in her best interest, like that we have sort of an agenda, and we aren't even always consciously aware that we have an agenda. But deep down, we have to examine, like, do we have an agenda here, or is it 100% okay, as long as it's 100% okay for her? I'm talking about things that are very triggering in our current birth world: circumcision, vaccinations, epidurals. Okay, even things like lying on your back for birth. What if she likes that position? Are you going to be able to support her? Are you going to be, oh, I wish she could get off her back? And there are certain, there's a lot of different levels of this. Obviously, if you see that there could be a better way, and you lovingly suggest it or encourage her, or you can find a way to obviously I'm not saying that whatever she wants, even if it's bad for her, you shouldn't say anything. That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying that we have to let go of our own agenda about her birth outcome. I remember the first few times I had a client who had a C-section. I would come home and literally cry. And I'm not talking about a traumatic birth where, she was rushed off and the baby almost, didn't make it. I'm not talking about that. I'm just talking about a really long labor, and we tried everything. And in the end of the day, we decided, end of the experience, it was decided that she would need a C-section. And I just remember feeling awful. Like, what have I done? If there's something I could have done differently. We all have to examine our professionally how we did, and we have to look at ourselves. But I took it so hard, and it took me years to let go of the idea that it isn't about me. I mean, of course it's not about me, but it took me a while to really internalize that lesson. That's what I'm saying. So how can we let go of our agenda and really strive to meet each woman where she's at? Like, what are some of the things that we can do? How can we actually make this a reality? So I said, meeting with the woman prenatally, finding out what her goals are, finding out what she aspires to, experience in her own birth, and really focus on her. We have to be able to feel the trigger. Oh, she wants that. Oh, I don't think that's the best thing. We have to be able to let go of those feelings and move through it and arrive at the place where we have a concrete idea of what the woman wants. Okay, and if she doesn't know what she wants, then we can provide her with options, we can provide her with choices, we can provide her with links and education so that she can educate herself and make the choices. We can have discussions. All these things are completely appropriate and within our scope of practice, but we don't influence, we try not to influence the woman, okay? Even myself, I won't tell a person where I hold in terms of being, pro or anti-vaccination. People say, what should I do? Should I vaccinate my child? I said, you need to read up on vaccinations, what the vaccination is for, what is the risk of the vaccination, what is the risk of the disease, what is the prevalence of the disease, and look in your family's history, look in your child's history, your other children. You need to read on pro and cons and studies, and you need to educate yourself and make a decision. I will support whatever decision you make, but it's not my decision, it's your decision. And I've held by this for over 20 years. And it's hard, people will press you. But what should I do? These people need to be inspired and encouraged and supported, and saying motherhood is about, parenthood is about making decisions. And so this is a great opportunity for you to look into it. Here are some links, here are some different types, and I try to send the pro and the con. So how do we meet each woman where she's at with acceptance and love? It starts with working on ourselves. It starts with moving from a place of rigidity and judgmental outlook to a place of acceptance, a place of flexibility. When we strive to reduce confrontation in the birth room between either the staff and the woman, the doula and the staff, the doula and the woman, whenever there's confrontation, whenever there are, feelings of stress, we raise the level of stress hormones. And this could be, the practitioner, the provider is stressed out, the husband is stressed out, there's a mother-in-law stressed out, there's the doula is stressed out. What I'm saying is everybody in the birth room contributes to that birth hormone cocktail. It's not just about the woman, it's not just about the baby, it's about everybody around her. So when we can add, oxytocin to the experience, we reduce her stress hormones, we reduce the stress hormones of the practitioner. I've had so many experiences where I'm in the birth room and my, relaxed vibes, I check my body language. If I'm stressed out and my voice is tense, that's going to make other people tense. But if I relax my shoulders and I modulate my voice and I give a sigh, it's actually sort of in a way like, wow, I just felt relaxed. See, I did it to myself and I felt relaxed. And so imagine how just the simple act of sort of acting relaxed can actually make you feel relaxed, and you transfer that to your client, you transfer that to the provider. I've had so many experiences where I've complimented the midwife. I work in a hospital where midwives are the primary care providers of the woman, and there are doctors overseeing the midwives, but most of all the care is midwifery care, hospital midwifery care. And I've had so many experiences where I've been able to contribute to the feeling of well-being and relaxation and oxytocin in the room by simply, being kind to the midwife, being kind to the practitioner. So, I'm talking about very simple compliments like, wow, thank you so much. I love how you care for her. "Oh, that was really inspiring how you did that, and I know that's a new technique. I've never seen that. Oh, where did you learn that? Thank you so much. I really appreciate your patience. Wow, you guys are busy here. It must be hard." Just something empathetic to the midwife in the room, and and then it immediately makes her more warm, and generally, and the woman herself. When I'm breathing in a relaxed way, I don't try to tell my woman. I don't try to tell my client so much to relax. I try to be relaxed and emanate relaxation. It really works. So when we can minimize confrontation and maximize our own feeling of, going with the flow, oxytocin, and we release our hold, we release our emotional control, we release a lot of things, and we allow the birth process to flow more. And in that way, we can sort of train ourselves to accept what is actually happening in the room versus what we want to have happen. I had a client just yesterday, actually, I wasn't planning on sharing this, but I had a client just yesterday, and we went into the hospital from home, a doula client, and the baby was extremely low, and yet she was only a few centimeters dilated. And her labor progressed slowly, and it was a number of hours had gone by. This was her third baby, and the midwife checked her, and she was 5 centimeters, and she started to have a really hard time, and her back started to hurt, and we were doing a lot of different positions. And this is a woman who has had 2 natural births, normal, natural, straightforward births, and she didn't want an epidural, but she started to think, like, I can't do this any longer. And she said, I can't do this any longer. I need an epidural. And I said, well, okay, what would you, can I try something first with you? We tried a couple more things, and she says, no, I can't do this. The midwife checked her, and she was 6 centimeters. And this was after another, an hour maybe. And she says, okay, I don't care, just whatever, just give me the epidural. So in the meantime, what happened, as soon as she accepted that she wanted the epidural, she let go. She was able to just let go and release. And things got really intense very quickly, and her water broke, and I noticed that there was some signs that the baby was coming down. And I put my head out the door. I said, I think you should. I heard the epidural cart coming along, the click, click, click coming along, and I ran and put my head out. I said, I think before you bring that in, you should just come in. And the baby was born within 5 minutes. And we thought about it, and I thought, there's an amazing power of letting go, even if it's sort of accepting that I need help, and that releases our emotional hold on the whole experience. So in that same way, I'm just using that as a what's the word in English? I'm sorry, I was about to use some Hebrew on you. An analogy. There we go. Thanks. An analogy for what we can do with the birth. We can allow, we can flow. We can embrace the unexpected, because in the end of the day, it's about the client. It's about the woman. It's about the client. It's about the person, the birthing person, and it's about the way she feels about her experience. Was she supported? Was she respected? Did we give her the? I'm running out of time. Okay. Was she respected? Was she supported? Was she encouraged? Did she have choices? Those kind of things. Those things minimize trauma, and they maximize the feeling of satisfaction with the birth itself. So we can add to that, because in the end of the day, she's going to have her baby, and she needs to feel good about her experience afterwards. And if that means I want an epidural, and my midwife and my doula and my midwife were supportive, and they helped me get it as soon as possible, and they helped me get as comfortable as possible, and they gave me a lot of incredible encouragement, and I didn't feel like a failure. I mean, that's the thing. Sometimes it's about helping a woman not feeling like a failure because she had to take pain relief, or she took a C-section because she needed one, and she needs to be supported and not feeling like a failure, because that feeling of I tried and I failed, that could be devastating for her, and that could follow her into her future. So we can't feel that way about her. So we have to check ourselves and work on ourselves to maintain our own outlook as in a balanced, neutral way, so that we can support our clients. So anyway, I hope that was helpful to you, and I hope I've covered enough that you can take away from this 20-minute, it's not very long, 20-minute talk on how to kind of get out of the way of our client's birth experience. And it's about the client, it's about the woman, And I'm sure after listening to this, you'll go forth and have many good births, and you might hear my voice in your head thinking, wait, this is that moment where I really need to just let go and let my client have her birth experience. And what can I do so that she takes away a feeling of, satisfaction, empowerment, that she was the hero in the story. Thanks very much. And I wish you all very good, healthy, happy births. Bye.